This year I didn't draw that magic Iowa tag, so we're stuck here in Kentucky at home. I've been going through quite a bit from where I fell in 2014. Had the tree stand accident and it messed my spine up. So this year I guess I'm gonna end up hunting with a crossbow. First time I ever hunted with one, but if it's gonna keep me going to the woods, I'm gonna use whatever it takes.
We're back with yet another big buck buster right here on DoD TV. Longtime Drury Outdoors team member Louie Payne has his sights set on a whitetail comeback after sustaining a debilitating injury back in 2014. Can Louie get it done there in Kentucky for the first time since sustaining his injury? You're about to find out. And hey, don't forget to smash that subscribe button as we climb toward 200,000 subs right here on YouTube.
Got him. Got him. So we're gonna concentrate on the lease farm mainly, just because that's where we got pictures of 3 shooters. High and Tight, Heavy 10, and Spider-Man there.
This episode of DoD TV is brought to you by Nose Jammer Field Spray. Overpower an animal's ability to detect and track your scent. Wrong wind? Jam them.
Got 2 hay bale blinds on this place, but they're both so rotten that we can't move them. So we had to come up here and hook to the condo. It's gonna be kind of tough getting in place because we're gonna have to do some trimming. Hopefully they'll come in soon. So we'll get it down there somehow or another. In 2014, I had a tree stand accident. Broke my back in 2 places and can't feel my leg on the left side, but I'm still after them, and that's what counts. We're gonna get this thing unhooked and get it leveled up and try to get out of here pretty quick. This year, we're gonna hunt out of the condo because it's on a trailer and we can pull it in any spot we need to pull it to. So we're gonna be hunting comfy style this year. We set the hut up about a week and a half or so ago, 2 weeks. Today it's up in the low 90s. They said that it feels like 99. Man, I'll be glad when this heat breaks. I guess it's all across the Midwest. We're in a severe drought situation. We've not had any rain for 30 days now. I don't know what's gonna happen there, how it's gonna affect things, but you know, it's not good to get this dry with the deer herd either because of EHD stuff, but I've not heard of any situations around here with that going on, so fingers crossed that don't hit us in here. We've been running cameras like crazy, trying to find some decent deer to hunt this year. We was fortunate enough to get 3 shooters on our LaRue County spot. You know, we got High and Tight, Spider-Man, and the Heavy 10. So we're gonna come back in about 2 weeks and check these cameras one more time before we actually start hunting these deer to see what's going on. Well, here it is, the 12th day of November here in central Kentucky. Yesterday it was 64 degrees. This morning we got wind chills of almost 0. Got snow plows on the truck, all the schools are closed. Crazy, but that's not gonna stop us. We're going out. Maybe this cold weather will get the deer on their feet some. So stay with us and we're gonna sit for a while. November the 12th, we've had that 30-degree drop in the temperatures, and when it goes from 60 down to 30 with wind chills in the 20s, it's cold here in Kentucky. We get settled into the condo, and we actually got a heater in there, and no doubt we lit that heater, so we was kind of sitting snug as a bug. Well, that's some pretty good action for first thing in the morning. We was in there getting things set up, and those 3 does come out. Then that spike busted out running them around. And you know what that means? Now we have the spike curse. Everywhere we go, we get the spike curse. Fingers are crossed. Well, we've had a pretty productive morning. We've seen several does and a few small bucks. A couple does and a couple young deer look like. A little bit later that morning, we seen 2 7-pointers that'll make good deer in a couple of years. But where's all the shooters at? Man, we're just not seeing any shooters, and you would think on a day like this, they gotta be moving. Well, there's 2 more deer come through, fed around a little bit. looked like a big doe and a 7-pointer. It looked like a 7-pointer, tried to push her around a little bit. But that's the 10th deer we've seen today. 4 bucks, 2 spikes, and 2 7-pointers. Where's the shooters at? Well, the next couple of days, we gotta work. People are still eating barbecue, and we gotta make a living. So I've got to work a couple of days before I can get some more time off. And these daggone temperatures are warming back up, and they're gonna melt the snow off, and I'm stuck at work for the next 2 days. Well, it's November 14th. We didn't get to hunt this morning. I had to work. So we're coming out here this afternoon. We're going back to this little food plot that I put in that we call the stump plot. We've seen several deer on this place, but nothing big yet at all. But it's bound to be just a matter of time. There's several does coming to that food plot. So all we need is one of them to get hot and bring a good one in there. So we're gonna go back here, get in this hut, see if we can make it happen. All right, on 11/14, we go in for our afternoon hunt, and we get up in the condo. I look out the daggone window, and here comes this good buck across there. Damn it. Oh, man. I was gonna shoot. I said, you got him.
Wow, well, darn it, quick enough yet, boy.
Well, that was the first good deer of the season that we've seen, and possibly had an opportunity at, but really didn't get to look at him that close, but I believe he was a shooter, or I was going to try to shoot him anyway. I mean, this has been a crazy, crazy year. Biggest deer we got on this place on picture-wise is a 140. This is the first year in a long, long time that we didn't have a picture of a bona fide shooter, you know, when you see him. Maybe he'll be back after a while, get a better look at him and size him up a little more. And a little bit later, we had a buck come through with a white rack just like this one, but I'm not convinced that it was the same buck, because the first buck looked like a shooter to me, but this second buck wasn't. And if it was that same buck, I'm glad we didn't get a chance to shoot him, because it wasn't something that I wanted. Well, here it is, November the 15th here in central Kentucky. Highs today's up in the 40s, lows in the 20s. We're gonna go out here this evening and sit in the hut a while. We got a couple of different shooters on this farm. Whether one comes by, who knows. DeerCast says it's great this evening, so we're gonna go sit and see what happens. Got high pressure bluebird day. We got a light wind coming out of the northeast, which is perfect for this spot. We're gonna go sit in the hut this evening, overlooking the biologic green patch plus. The deer been just mowing it down. But we're gonna go sit in the plot this evening, and hopefully one of our shooters will come strolling by. Well, we get out to the condo a little bit just before daylight. We get settled in, and it was kind of slow there at first, but everything was starting to wake up in the woods, and it wasn't long we seen a couple of small deer come out and feed across the plot, and it ended up being a pretty slow morning. We seen a pretty good buck in here last night. Hopefully we see something bigger in here today, but we got a slight northeast wind, which is perfect for this spot. It's blowing it back out the way we came in. But the DeerCast says it's gonna be great all day. So we're gonna probably sit all day long in here and see what happens. Hopefully maybe a shooter comes strolling through here. As the evening progressed, we got a couple of big does out into the field, and then there was one small one that was kind of running around out there, and that little joker just kept staring back into the woods there at one time, and I thought, man, there's gotta be another deer back in there somewhere. Finally, I got a glimpse of some movement, threw up the binoculars, and there he was, hind tight's on his way. Yes, it's a shooter. Come on, man, come on out here. Meh. 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 I don't know what it did. Man. I just shot that big white 8 that we've been getting pictures of. I had it on him. I couldn't hardly get him stopped, but I put it on his shoulder and let it eat. Not sure what happened. I seen the arrow go bounce out down through there, so hopefully we can find the arrow. Whew. That's what it's all about, man. Might have just got us a nice buck. Well, what a rush that was after shooting a deer like that. We ended up looking back at the tape, and the tape looked good, but it was just a little bit back. So we pulled up DeerCast and went to deer track on that, and we decided to wait 1 hour because we felt like it was a double lung shot, actually, the back part of the lungs, trying to find blood and lining him out which way he went. We went over there and seen where the deer kicked up, and there's a little bit of blood. But before we started tracking, I come back in here and we reviewed the camera, and we decided to sit here for an hour before we go try to track him. Shot looks pretty good, but it's just a little bit back. But it did look like maybe I double lunged him, but I'm not 100% positive. So we're getting ready to go out here now and see if we can find this dude. Well, after we got down in the field, it was real spotty. Of course, when you shoot them, they're tearing out of there anyway, but we found a few spots here and there with blood on it, and finally found where he went into the woods. It got to be easier tracking as we go. Started to be a lot of blood on branches and down here on the leaves on the other side, so you could tell he was bleeding out both sides. Here's another part. Look right there, white belly.
Oh, right. Heck yeah.
Shined the light down through the woods, and there was a big white belly sticking up. Don't get any more excited than that.
Oh, yeah.
Heck yeah. Yeah, that's what we heard crash. He done got stiff. Heck yeah. Well, here it is, November the 15th, and we're right smack dab in the middle of gun season here in Kentucky. This year I've had some health issues. After my fall, I've been battling some issues with my spine and stuff, and it's affected my shoulder and neck, and I hadn't been able to pull my bow back. And we dedicated the whole year to get it done with this crossbow, and this is the end result. I could tell he had a pretty good rack, but I still couldn't hardly see him through that brush. He's chocolate horned, and he finally come out into the food plot so we could get a good look at him, and I knew what deer it was. And we've been getting pictures of this deer all year, but nevertheless, I'm tickled to death with this deer, and we're getting ready to get him out of here. You know, after harvesting high and tight, that deer meant a lot to me because that was the first deer that I have killed in Kentucky since my accident. And not only that, but we got some nice up and coming deer for next year. And I can't wait to get the cameras rolling next summer and see what happens.
Make the most of your time in the woods by knowing how to recover your deer after any shot with our revolutionary track feature. And get ahead of your game with DeerCast.
We're adding new videos every week, so make sure to click that subscribe button and check out all of our amazing content. This episode of DoD TV is brought to you by the new Tenzing Voyager Day Pack. Go further, hunt longer, Tenzing.